I'm very excited to have you on this video. And on this video, we're going to be talking about something that is very, very important. And in fact, we'll be discussing about how you can start a business, how you can start something while in school before you graduate, because it is the most important thing to do right now in this economy due to the AI revolution. The system has failed us to provide jobs, and in fact, with the education that you've had from school, you can actually use that as a foundational skill to start something by yourself that will put food on your table. And in fact, it might be something that you will eventually do by the time you graduate. So I'll be having Adekunle here. He's a photographer and cinematographer. And he have had several experience starting a business while in school. And in fact, after graduation, he has been successful with several businesses. So we want to see his experience, and we want to see how he was able to discover what to do while in school and how he was able to succeed doing it. I have Adekunle here.
I feel good to be here. I feel really, really excited, and thank you for trusting me to bringing me on this
Yeah, no problem.
podcast.
You are the best person can actually bring here, because you've been an inspiration to me while on campus. Then I was someone that likes book, but you keep telling me you me do something aside from you facing your book. But I really thank God for the inspiration, and in fact, that was a very good one. So I have several questions for you here, but the first question is, what actually inspired you to start a business while in school?
Mm. My first inspiration was the fact that I needed to sort certain bills, and I didn't really want to. I didn't want to be too dependent on calling my parents, calling uncle for certain things. I wanted to feel independent. Urge to there was this urge to be independent and sort certain bills myself without necessarily calling anybody. That was the first inspiration.
Yeah, that's a very good inspiration, and in fact, I know a lot of students out there actually have that in mind. They want to be independent, because at times when they call home, and they might not get what they called home for, and most of these students are disappointed, and they'll start thinking, how can they actually start something? But they don't have that knowledge. They have the urge, but they don't have that knowledge. So how were you able to gather enough information to know what to do and how to start?
First of all, I was already doing photography before I gained admission, but I wasn't doing it commercially. I was just basically doing it as an hobby. It was more like an hobby. I was enjoying it. But getting to campus, I had to monetize what I literally enjoyed doing. In fact, I've shot pictures before I gained admission without charging people because I literally enjoyed taking pictures.
Okay.
So basically, starting commercially was a little bit difficult on campus because I had to switch from street. Street photography was a little bit difficult to monetize on campus, and I needed to like interact with people and give them the kind of niche that they literally need. So I had to switch to lifestyle photography. The switch was a bit difficult, like I said, because I didn't know anything about retouching, I didn't know anything about beauty shoots. I had to go find people who are doing that on campus, and I needed to learn from them.
Wow.
Even at that, it was still a bit difficult because some of them saw me as a competitor that wanted to like steal
Wow.
their
That's
strategy and
that's I
all.
understand that that can be really challenging.
So the learning was practical. I learned on the job. I didn't have any structure.
A lot of
Yes.
students, we
Okay.
actually think that they actually need to go through a formal learning platform to learn these skills, but you are a proof that you can actually learn on the job and
Yes.
improve. So
Yes.
how were you able to manage that, and how were you able to like prove to yourself that you are good enough to do the job? due to the fact that you didn't go through like a normal framework, a normal learning process?
First of all, I made a lot of mistake. I will not dispute that fact. Sometimes I disappoint clients, but each mistakes prepared me for the next movement. If I make the first mistake today, I wouldn't want the same thing to alter my the way I feel about my business or the way I feel about my brand as a whole. I go back to the behind the scene and I prepare myself again. I watch YouTube videos, I ask questions, I check Instagram pages. How are they taking these nice pictures? That literally puts me on the edge, and I kept on learning from different sources.
Wow, that is really good. Doing all that while in school,
Yes.
and you still had academic demands. How
Right.
were you able to strike that balance?
Hmm. Psychologically speaking, that was like the first mental setback because I was thinking how I was going to balance school with business. But fortunately, I had a conversation with a friend who was telling me, "Guy, you are doing really great. Are you still looking for first class with this that you are doing? It's just best you agree to yourself that you are doing business and you are not
Right,
like
right
every
from the
other."
start.
Exactly. The friend was like, "You are not like every other student who has their goal and they have one way
Even
on
there are a lot of
campus."
students that don't even have they don't have any goal. They just want to get to school and they don't have a picture of what to do
Right,
after school. But the fact that you have an edge over other students, the fact that you know what to do,
right,
you are chasing it. So you
right.
don't really care about, of course, the grade will go a long way, but it doesn't really matter if you've carried with a first class or
Exactly,
a 2-1 or a 2-2.
exactly,
All you wanted to do is business and you went through, and that
exactly,
was because the experience you got is gold.
exactly. The best part was that my course and my business, they were kind of interwoven. Business as a whole is psychology, and I'm studying humans. I'm studying human behavior, and business is basically studying human behavior. You can never be successful in business if you don't really understand human. And if you don't understand human, you must have a part of your business that literally understand human. And that's like the base of any business you are doing, and that is marketing. So psychology and my business was interwoven in that sense. I was able to deal with people.
Wow, your degree program gave you the requisite knowledge. It gave you an
Yes,
edge in a
exactly,
business
exactly.
pursuit and everything, while balancing with school and also doing. What is the biggest challenge? Can you break that down for us? And how were you able to like overcome the challenge?
One of the biggest challenges I had was thinking about how I was going to upgrade my business, getting resources to upgrade my business. You need better gears. It got to a point that I knew that I've grown, but I need certain gears to achieve certain things. That was like one of the biggest challenges I had at that point in time. And the best way I solved it was reaching out for collaborations and networking people who had better ideas and better resources. And I was able to build a very good relationship. Like I said, business is about building the best relationship. A lot of people that have good ideas and all they need is to just go out there, build the best relationship they can build. At the end of the day, some of the relationship will be good academically, some of them will be good for your business, and some of them will be good for future. Relationship and networking is very key. People say your network is your net worth. So I I was able to leverage on my network. I go for events, meet people, talk about what we do, we collaborate afterwards, and we build a very cordial relationship afterwards.
That's a very good one. I really
Yes.
love that. So, what are the habits or mindsets that actually help you to stay disciplined through it all?
Mm, discipline. Discipline is quite difficult. I will not lie to you, but like you said, the habits, the mindset. I knew school was a part of life. I told myself that okay, this is a phase of life, and this is not life. and I'm preparing myself for something beyond where I am. So I knew most of the difficulties and challenges, they were just preparing me for something I'm actually working towards. So each time I feel bad about whatever thing I do, or each time I feel like I don't feel like doing what I'm doing and all of that, I
I feel
knew
like giving up.
I feel like giving up. You get the words. Now I usually tell myself this is just a phase, and I will never let that moment trap me like a trap star. I just agree. I tell myself, for me, I feel like life is all about agreeing to certain things, but you must agree to positive things. Find a positive idea. I know it might be difficult for you to find positive thoughts sometimes, but find a positive thought and agree to it if it's working for you at that moment. But one thing, know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
basically. So I think that's the question you
Yeah,
asked.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How were you able to, like, what habits and mindset actually helped you to
Yes.
stay disciplined?
Yes.
So do you think every student should try to start a business before graduating?
Mm. Business is wild, and it is decision making. I once had conversation with my mom about she telling me to learn fashion designing, and I did not agree. And now it seems like there was a time my business wasn't going really fine, and she brought the idea of, I told you to learn this, you didn't learn it. Or I told her I'm still on track with my business, but I can take responsibility for this now. Now the point I'm trying to make now is this: if you want to do anything, it's really key that you decide for yourself, so that when anything happens, you are able to take responsibilities. And if you are taking advice from anyone, you are still making the decision at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So my point is, so it's basically based on your why. You must have a reason. Why do you want to start a business? If you don't have a reason why you want to start a business and you venture into business, it's going to be very easy for you to give up. You must have a reason.
Okay, yeah, I actually get that because I can relate. Let me just share a bit of my experience.
Okay.
Now, what actually prompted me to start the little business I'm doing, because I started late, was that I really wanted to solve a problem.
Mm.
I looked, because I studied education in school,
Okay.
and I looked around when I was doing my teaching practice. I looked around students saying that there is a problem
Mm.
that these students have in terms of learning, and these teachers are not providing the adequate knowledge that
Mm.
we actually guide the students through. And I have it.
Mm.
But then I reach out to some of the students in school, but and I ask myself, how can I reach more students?
Mm.
Even at that point in time when I had that idea, I never had the idea of actually monetizing it. But I had that burning desire that I want to solve this problem.
Right.
Then along the way, I thought about how can I get visibility and all that. And from there, I started having this thought of monetizing it. So the fact that I was able to monetize it because it's something I identified a problem that I really wanted to solve, and I provide the solution.
Mm.
So what a lot of students want to start business, but are you seeking to solve a problem? Like you said, the why. They must know the why.
Yes.
Do they want to solve a problem? Do they want to meet a particular need in the
Right.
marketplace?
Right.
Those are the different reasons. So you
Yeah.
just have to look inward and look at why do I want to start. It's not that, oh, someone is doing this, oh, is making money, you just go into it and just start. Of course that can actually help, but then it will not keep you going, because business has to do with so many challenges. So if it's something that you don't like, do you agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If it's something
I
that
definitely
if,
agree
it,
with
if
what
it's
you are
something
saying.
that you don't like,
Right.
you might end up giving up because there are challenges that will come your way.
Exactly.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it make a whole lot of sense. You must have your why, like you said, and you must really like what you are doing. Sometimes what you like can be boring sometimes, and that is when you are trying to make money. And initially, I said there's nothing as good as making money off what you really enjoy.
So that's a very, I like that. So how has starting early shaped your life or career?
Hmm. Starting early is at first it got to a point where I figured that starting business early took my focus from certain things. It took the whole of my focus from certain things. And when I realized that, I felt like I felt like I missed out
Of starting up?
certain things. Then at the same time, when I sat down and I reflect, I figured I never missed out of anything because I'm still on the journey. And this is the only way I can say it has really shaped me. I'm still on the journey.
Yeah, yes, you
And
keep
I'm
learning,
still
you keep
learning.
learning all the time. The journey
Exactly.
is the
The journey
destination.
is the destination. Exactly. I'm still learning. So I'm not it's more than 7 years I've been doing this business already, and I can boldly say I've gathered a lot of experiences that I won't be able to gather anywhere.
That's a very good one. And in fact, one thing you said something about you starting in school and making mistakes.
Yes.
Starting early can give you that advantage to experiment with a lot of things while
Right.
in school.
Right.
So you would have, it's like a training ground. So by
Exactly.
the time you are done, you would have made, you would have adjusted and adjusted, and you'd have made so many basic mistakes,
Right.
adjusted, and in fact it would have gotten to have gotten you would have gotten to a certain level
Hmm.
that you'll be able to work with certain people and
Right.
they won't be scared to give you job.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I feel like what you said, starting early gives you the required experience
Mm.
to be able to push forward,
Mm.
and it will give you the chance to learn more and improve.
Yeah. Exactly. This
So
is perfect.
I really appreciate everything you've said, and I hope our audience have actually picked one or two from what we've discussed. And from this our conversation, I know you must have been having
Mm.
thoughts of, oh, what should I start? I think this enough should give you like a clear picture on why you should start. Why do you want to start? Okay, before asking why, it is necessary to start a business while in school because of the job market, because you have to know what you want to do after school. And aside from that, you need to actually gather funds for yourself. But before, you need to ask yourself, why do you want to start? Then after asking yourself why, start
Right.
early and also go from there. So I really appreciate
Thank you very much.
your
Thank you for having me.
yeah. So we see next time on our next video on this. So bye for now.